Let's rehash a little bit of this. Let's go back to the second period. It was scoreless after the first period. What did you notice in the second?
Well, again, the second period was a little bit like the first. It just the Islanders, just never really got on track with their game for my liking. Odd man rushes and failed clearing plays, and eventually when you make mistakes like that, it's going to end up in your net. Now, certainly, Josh Bailey, had plenty of opportunities, and eventually the Islanders are going to score. But Josh had a great game. That's down low, and that's just shoot it from anywhere and everywhere. I mean, just stay right with it and have the common sense. Barzal drives towards the net, and you didn't see a lot of that tonight either, Shannon, where the Islanders really were driving towards the net. They had some opportunities. But then the Flyers on a couple of turnovers, get an opportunity. You can see Giroux all alone in front, and that shouldn't happen. I mean, you're supposed to mark your man. It's 3-on-3 down low. Islanders don't do a very good job of that. Varlamov has no chance, and Claude Giroux finally gets a goal for his Philadelphia Flyers. He hadn't scored yet. JVR, he hadn't scored yet. There's another turnover, odd man rush. And again, I talk about those cross-ice passes, those seam passes, beautiful pass all the way across the ice, but the goaltender just doesn't have a chance. Got to let the goaltender play the shooter, Shannon. That's a cardinal rule in defensive hockey. So the Islanders find themselves down 2-1, and quite frankly, they were getting outplayed.
We knew what Josh Bailey was bringing to this series, but the Flyers had been looking for these two players in particular to find the back of the net. They got it from Claude Giroux, his first goal since back in March 7th to be exact, and February 28th was the last time that we saw a goal from James Van Riemsdyk. They made this game interesting, and going into the third period, Islanders were hoping to have a little bit of a breather and get back to that game that they've been doing so well at closing things out. It wasn't the start of the third that they were hoping for, Butch.
Not at all, although they did come out of the start of the period, and they looked a little bit like the Islanders. They started to get in on the forecheck. They started to create some opportunities, and then they give up that goal, by Niskanen. And again, it's an Islander scenario where they struggle with their coverage. Long-range pass, a bomb there, but earlier the Islanders had turned it over right there. Brassard turns it over, and that gives the Philadelphia Flyers the opportunity to get that shot on net, and that's Niskanen's first goal. But those are the things that plagued the Islanders most of the night. And then the comeback, and Brock Nelson with the tremendous one-timer. Jonesy was talking about Boucher doing the NBC, thought that was harder. Carter Hart's a problem, but that was a real good shot, and I'm talking about going high on this guy all the time, and so Brock Nelson was certainly paying attention. And then this is tremendous effort by Clutterbuck. He controls the boards, he has the puck, and then in desperation he goes all the way across to Brassard. I'm not sure he was trying to pass it to Brassard. He might have been trying to go for a little deflection, but credit Brassard for not standing behind the net. Shannon, make sure you get out in front, and everybody's thrilled to death that he's able to finally get a goal, particularly after his turnover. And you're right, the Islanders had to be feeling really good about themselves because they came back desperation at the end of the period. And it's funny, we talk about this all the time. Where's that desperation before that? Why do you wait to be down 2 goals? They should have had that desperation for the entire 20 minutes in the third period for certain. But they did come back, and they did make it a pretty good effort.
Yeah, just a minute 33 between those two Islanders goals that then forced overtime. You could feel kind of the energy, even though we're not in the building. You could feel it building for the Islanders. You thought they would carry it over into overtime, and they had a couple really good chances early on.
They did, and it was actually a very good overtime period. I mean, there's chances at both ends of the rink, and the goaltenders had to be good to get it down low. And Taves is a guy you thought might be able to finish it off, and he gets a tremendous opportunity. He thinks he scores, and you have to score in those, and this is the one for me that Brock we talk about guys staying awake at night and wondering what else he could have done, and then there's the deflection. That's a lucky break. He didn't even move his stick. It just hit his stick, and it goes in, but you get it on net. You don't block the shot. I should give him more credit than that. He did. He watched it all the way, so yes, good deflection. And the guys didn't tie up his stick. But again, it was a real good overtime for both teams with plenty of opportunities. And the Flyers live another day. And it won't get easier, Shannon. I can tell you that, because the Flyers are getting a little sniff. and you know, it looked like they might be dead and gone, but now they're you know, they're hanging around, and those are dangerous situations.
And icing right before that too. So
yes.
you also have to kind of pay attention to those details. And even though you're kind of late in the game, this isn't the normal playoffs. It's not like they played 82 games and came right into the postseason where they might have some of that fatigue that's setting in. Islanders and Flyers both fresh teams, and they need to take advantage when they can.
Well, yes, and you know, you mentioned it. You know, Leddy iced that puck, and the Islanders have struggled mightily in their own zone on faceoffs, and so you don't want to take a faceoff, particularly in overtime, and give up an opportunity. And at the end of the day, they won the faceoff, the Flyers, and they continued right on and eventually got a goal from there. So the Islanders got to be a little bit better when they have control of the puck. You know, you hear me yelling all the time, skate with it, instead of just dumping it out. Easier said than done. I'm just, you know, I just get into the games and I enjoy the games, and it's a tough one for the Islanders, but they still have some room for error.